Kilo Bravo 5, Alpha Alpha Bravo. The name is Kirby. Kirby like the vacuum cleaner in Mississippi. Over.
Roger, Kirby. What radio are you running today, sir?
Well, I'm running an old 570 Delta, and I've got a Radio Shack highball microphone connected to it, and about 800 watts. Over.
Roger, looks pretty good there. What's the age of that radio? Is it fairly new radio?
No, it's the 570 is probably 17 to 20 years old.
Roger, yeah, you do have a processor on the radio?
Yeah, I am running a little bit of processing on it.
Roger, about a 3?
Yeah, well, I have to look in the menu to tell you the truth. I'm not sure.
Roger, kind of important. You know, you seem to be not quite as fat as you could be. That's the reason I was asking. We usually suggest running about a 3 on the processor.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna switch it off here and let's see what the changes are.
Okay, you switched it off right at the last of your Qso there?
Okay, now I'm switched off the processor. So looks like LC looks pretty good right there.
Yeah, you're probably about 8 dB dynamic range. What you want to be is about a 3 dB dynamic range, and that's the beginning of what that processor does. So if you'll set the processor on a 3, we'll go on through and set you up there. Roger?
Okay, yeah, well, man, the issue, I've got to find it in the memory. He's not real sure where it's at, but I'm looking for it while you talk.
All righty, well, let's see, where'd you say you were?
Yeah, I'm in Mississippi, southern Mississippi.
Roger, Kirby, southern Mississippi. I got you there. Well, you're doing pretty well on my local antenna. I'm not running through an SDR. I am copying you on my local radio, and you know, all things said and done, the SDRs do have a tendency to roll off quite a bit on the bottom end of the audio spectrum. It's pretty uniform on all internet SDR receivers. They do roll off the bottom end. So, you know, the only way that I can be absolutely sure of what's going on is when I'm copying the mail on my local radio, which has been pretty heavily modified in the audio spectrum area. And so, you know, come back and let me hear you there.
Yeah, I found the menu, and yeah, this one goes in steps of 5, so it's either 5 or 10. So I'm down to 5 on the processor, which I guess cuts it in half, but we'll see what that sounds like.
Oh, Roger, so you have actually a 2-position input level select?
Yeah, it looks like it goes up in steps of 5 here. I'm not real familiar with it, so let me look and see how it goes. But as far as the scale on it,
Roger. Yeah, it's unfortunate, you know, that manufacturers don't give you a little bit more control over mid-scale or full-scale input level to the compressor. I would, you know, rather have an input pot control, you know.
Yeah, so it looks like this one goes up to a scale of 25 and with 5 increments of 5. So it looks like I'm running about 20% on the processor.
All right, what we're looking for is about 30, so come up 5 more.
Okay, so we're about 40% there, I guess. Can't go in between, but about 40%.
Yes, sir, I can start to see it working. All right, now what I want you to do is go to your ALC meter with a mic gain in hand and talk just in a normal voice and adjust your mic gain until your ALC meter is running mid-scale to 2/3.
Do that, and I'm coming down on it there a bit, and yeah, we about mid-scale there with a normal talking, somewhere right in there.
Roger. Now we want to be just a little bit more. That mid-scale to 2/3. If you can, you know, hit that 2/3 a little bit. That's the beautiful part about the fattening process. You know, between mid-scale and 2/3.
Okay. Well, we we're going to come up a bit on it there, and looks like we're peaking about 2/3 there with a normal voice.
Alrighty, and so tell me about your antenna system.
Well, I'm running a 2 wavelength delta loop at about 50 feet at the moment, and it perfectly matches here on 40 meters. So it's actually 80, but it's cut for 2 wavelengths on 40, and it has some huge loads that come off in certain directions, and seems like it works into Europe very well. So I've kind of left it right there and use it for 40 instead of 80.
Oh, Roger, Roger. Well, there's nothing better than the right antenna at the right time, at the right place, regardless of whether it is supposed to be the right antenna or not, Roger.
It definitely works. I think I have a little advantage here because the feed point is on the point of a ridge, and it's sloping off, and I guess in 3 directions around the tower. So the actual elevation on the downhill side is anywhere from 70 to 100 feet, depending on what leg it is.
Roger. Now, are you talking about being vertically polarized?
Negative. It's horizontal. It's just the slope of the hill is actually changing the elevation. You know, so it starts off at a feet point of 45 and goes out horizontal and it's 75 foot on one and 100 foot on the other.
Roger, Kirby. Well, let me tell you something, man. I've just been around. You know, I have this input selector switch. It's a 6-position rotary selector, and I have 4 of my SDR receivers come up on that, plus my local receiver. And I just was twirling around, and there was no difference between any of those signals. I mean, you were doing like 10 to 12 over on my local antenna, on the Rochester SDR, on the Milford SDR, on the Georgia SDR, and on the Arlington SDR. Just everywhere. Beautiful.
SDR, just everywhere. Beautiful. Yeah, okay, well, I appreciate that. I missed the name there earlier. What was the name?
Name here is Jim Juliet India Mike, and we are located just across the Ohio River from Louisville, Kentucky. Roger.
Louisville, Kentucky. Roger. Okay, Jim, real good. Well, I mainly run DX on this, so on this particular station, and with this antenna, and it puts a big booming signal into Europe and the Middle East, and I'm not real sure why. Maybe one of the big lobes come off and point that direction, but like I say, I put it up and it works that way, and I just left it.
Oh, roger that, roger that. Now, you are operating your radio in the widest capable bandpass, Roger?
Yeah, I don't have a lot of adjustment on that. These radios don't give me a whole bunch.
Roger, roger. Well, you know, as near as you can come to 100 to 2900, the best it's going to be. You know, a lot of folks on the newer radios, they have a tendency to try to restrict their bandpass, and they're just shooting themselves in the foot, because the first thing that they lose is the high frequency content when they start closing the bandpass. And of course, high frequency content is all about articulation and clarity. So the cleaner somebody can hear you, what you're saying, the better off you're going to be, whether it's in a pile up or you're under noise. Roger?
I understand. I think this one, I can choke it down to 2.4, and I believe the other is 2.8 or 2.9. I'm looking to see in the memory. It's been a long time since I set it up, but I know it can go down to 2.4, but I normally run it here and just let her ride.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. That's what I do. There's no reason to be running anything other than 2.9. You know. So anyway, Kirby, you're sounding good, buddy. Thanks for dropping by, Roger.
Okay. Well, I appreciate that. And yeah, I was just looking at this menu here and looking here and seeing it. But yeah, I'm at about 2.9 or 3 according to this menu.
Roger. 2.9 is the trick there. You get to 3, and sometimes people come looking for you, you know, but 2.9 is usually perfect, Roger.
Yeah, I see I was mistaken on that. It says 2.4 on the menu and 2, so I'm running it as wide as point. It's 2.4, which you're saying I'm about 2.9 wide, and that's great. I'll leave her right there.
Roger. All right, 3's that way, sir. Thanks for checking in. If you get a chance, join us next Friday. In the meantime, in between time, if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor, that will take you to our Qso-Vlog page on YouTube. And right now we're running about 1,200 recorded QSOs, but you'll be looking for one in particular. It's called My Group Air Check 71720. You'll be looking for an air check entitled My Group Air Check 71720, today's date. Roger?
Okay, thanks a lot, Jim, and appreciate that, and I'll let you pick another one up and give them some great advice. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Kilo Charlie 9, Victor, Kilo Victor, KB5AAB, 73s, Mr. Jim.
3, sir. KC9VKV, the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog network. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.